Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Copilot Compass, where each week we'll take a deep dive into Microsoft 365 Copilot. As always, I have the pleasure of being joined by my esteemed colleague, fellow Copilot enthusiast, and our resident smart guy, Logan.
Thanks, Garrett. Happy to be here.
Awesome. And Logan, why don't you tell the audience a little bit more about what they can expect from this week's episode?
Yeah, so as always, we'll start out with the question of the week, and then we're going to dive into our topic, which is creative use cases for Copilot to make work fun. So yeah, I'm really excited. It should be a good episode. And make sure you stay tuned to the end to get a sneak preview of what we're going to cover next week. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment.
Yeah, awesome. I'm looking forward to this one. We're breaking tradition a little bit. We're not focusing on one particular application within the Office suite and use cases of Copilot, but instead, just talking about how we can use Copilot to make more fun.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, ready to dive in?
Well, yeah, let's do it.
Awesome.
So let's get started with our question of the week. And remember to leave a comment below in the video or just click the link to send us an email with any questions you'd like us to cover. So yeah, let's get started. What creative uses have you found for Copilot in your daily tasks?
Good question. Yeah. I think I got two answers. First one's not super creative, but something I definitely use every day is the summarizing of the important emails that are in my inbox. I think we've covered this in a previous episode, but at a glance, I get a lot of emails that kind of come through overnight my time from our offshore delivery teams. And, my old method was to just kind of sort through my mailbox with the, longest aged unread email, like stuff that had come through, earlier in the evening time, and then kind of working my way up to the most recent emails. And when you go through that process, unless you're able to, kind of club all of those emails in one go, which is not, a realistic situation for me. I'm probably gonna get through a chunk and then have some meetings, then come back to them and then have another, get through some chunks and go back and forth. What I was finding is a lot of times I'm responding to emails that could have waited, and I'm also responding late to emails that were probably more important that I should have prioritized first. But now, with Copilot, I can kind of use it to help me understand what are those most important emails where I'm specifically being called out or I'm currently a bottleneck on, and cover those first. So again, not creative, but it is something I use every day. One that I'd say I don't use daily, but is definitely a fun one is, using Copilot to give me fun and creative names for things. It's kind of something that we'll cover coming up, so I won't get into a ton of detail. But yeah, those are kind of two things that come top of mind for me. What about you, Logan?
Yeah, one thing I've been having a bunch of fun with recently is using Copilot to create fake data. So like in a lot of scenarios, I need fake data for presentations where I'm not trying to actually show anything to a client, but just basically demonstrate some concepts. And in the past, I've just gone on Excel and used random number generators and stuff like that. But with Copilot, I can basically just ask it to, generate me a full table of big data with, whatever specifically curated topics you want. And then you can just copy and paste that table right out of Copilot and dump it into Excel or Power BI or whatever you want to do. And so, yeah, I've been enjoying it a lot.
Think, good question of the week. Are we ready to dive in through our topic of the week?
Yeah, I think so. Let's do it.
Awesome. Okay, so our topic of the week is how you can use Copilot to make work more fun. We're not going to cover specific apps like I mentioned at at the start of this episode, but just kind of more generic use cases for Copilot and, ways to, small things you can do to make work more enjoyable. There's some stuff, that we're not going to cover in our demos and our crow's nest this week, but, there are certain things like the ease of collaboration that we've covered in previous episodes. Please make sure you subscribe to our channel, go back and look at some of those if you're interested in getting a little bit more understanding there. But, the ease of collaboration with Copilot is tremendous. It's no longer are you having to kind of send a file back and forth and kind of pass documents, but now you're working live together on the spot on documents, which, it's not the same as if you're sitting in a room together on a whiteboard, but it's, the next best alternative, I would say, and particularly the integrations with Loop, which is something that we have really enjoyed using. The meeting notes are another great one. It's making sure, and from a collaboration and, making work more enjoyable perspective, it's really about, making sure that we're not missing action items from meetings. I think we've all been in situations where we've attended a meeting, some things were discussed, and somebody kind of dropped the ball and forgot like something that, was discussed in that meeting. And it can kind of create, some tension over time. I think teams can kind of help alleviate some of that. And then lastly, and most importantly, at the end of the day, Copilot is a great efficiency tool. And by being more efficient, it opens up more bandwidth and time for things like employee engagement activities. I don't know, Logan, what are you excited to talk about with Copilot and making work more fun?
Yeah, well, I've had a lot of fun recently with creating custom images. It's a great way to get inspiration for designs or PowerPoints or logos. And in fact, the logo that we used for this podcast was initially inspired by a Copilot prompt that we had. So it's really cool, fun to play around with. It can be very helpful for sprucing up different pieces of content you're making. And the other thing is just brainstorming and just kind of throwing some ideas at Copilot chat and seeing what you get back. Obviously it doesn't replace brainstorming with your actual colleagues, but it could be, interesting to get, Copilot's perspective on whatever kind of ideas you have. So, yeah, I've had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, well said, Logan. All right, I think with that, are we ready to get into our first set of demos?
Yeah, let's get started.
All right, so our first demo today is going to be creating images with Copilot. Now, you've got lots of ways to interact with Copilot we've shown in our previous episodes, but today I'm just here in my Edge browser. I've got Copilot up, and I'm going to ask it simply to create an image of a pirate looking through and Logan, really silly question. The thing that pirates look through, that's kind of a long thing, and one they look through with one eye and look out to sea, is that a spyglass?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Spyglass. I don't know, for whatever reason, this doesn't sound right, but so as Copilot's doing its thing here, let me set some background. So we have typically tended to name all of our assets, project teams, things of that nature, using either pirate themes or like some kind of a nautical theme. And so in this case, let's say I'm trying to build a go-to-market plan that I'm going to share internally within the team, and we are going to kind of discuss this, and I want to build a fun title slide for the presentation based on, kind of the culture and the background that we were just outlining. So I can use Copilot. It's going to give me at least 3 options, typically 4, but it's going to give you options to choose from. Now, we almost never get the prompt exactly right. I'm going to kind of see the image it's given me, and then I might decide, okay, it's missing something. And you can see that Copilot's already suggested a few things for me down here. Make it a treasure map in the background, add a parrot to the shoulder, change the pirate to a female character. So it's giving me some suggestions. But let's say that I want to have include a treasure chest and add a pirate to the shoulder. Okay, and then Copilot is again going to do its thing here. Again, with this image creation, it's very rare that you're going to get right the first time. You're going to kind of see that first result and then provide it some coaching and some feedback to kind of get that sort of the end result that you're looking for here. You can see again as it's doing its thing, it's already given me some new suggestions, and here's my new options. So let's say that I like this second one. What do you think? You like the second one here,
Yeah,
Logan?
yeah, let's go.
Okay. So let's say I like this one for my background. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on this image. And then to incorporate this into my PowerPoint deck, I have a few options. So I could certainly download this image to, let's say, my desktop or downloads folder, and then, grab the image from there. Or even easier, I can just go ahead and copy this image over. So I've got it copied over. And now I'm just going to pull up my new PowerPoint presentation here for, my go-to-market strategy that we're going to share internally. I've got my title slide. Now I'm going to go ahead and just right click and say, I'm going to go format background over here. Currently set to solid fill. I'm going to do a picture or texture fill. Now here, if I had done this, in the sense of I've downloaded it somewhere or saved it on my machine, I would just select the insert and then, go select from file. But in this case, I've already got it copied over. So I'm just going to select clipboard. Now, a few things here is Copilot the image generator is not by default going to give me the same, layout for this picture. So sometimes the image might be a little bit higher or lower as far as the cutoff goes for where I want it. I can edit that here with this offset. So you can see it's set offset to -39 on both top and bottom. Let's say I want it to be a little bit lower on the screen. So let's say I want to set it to 25, and I'll dig 25 down here just to make sure the dimensions stay the same. and there I go. So I can kind of play around with it here, but now I've got kind of a fun background here for the title slide of my internal presentation. Okay, so for our next crow's nest, we're going to walk you through a cool few use cases just using the Microsoft 365 Copilot chat here. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys here. It's already given me one fun suggestion here. Have a laugh. So it's going to suggest 5 office-friendly jokes. So let's say I'm walking into a meeting. I want to, lighten the mood at the start of the meeting. I can kind of have it come up with a few jokes for me that I might just, bring into that discussion. But another fun way that we've, kind of used it within our organization is I mentioned in the last demo that we've tended to name all of our stuff after, pirate theme or nautical theme stuff. So let's say that we are standing up a new team that's going to be doing customer sales support. So I want to internally within our organization have a fun name for the team. So I might just ask Copilot, give me 10 creative pirate themed names for a customer sales support team. And then again, it's going to give me quickly here some suggestions: sales buccaneers, customer corsairs, the support swashbucklers, pirate problem solvers, excuse me, the treasure trove team. So let's say, I've already got a few teams that kind of have some of these, like we have a buccaneers group. We have one that has corsairs in the name. So I'm just going to say, I like the pirate problem solver. So there I go. Really quick use case, but again, it's one of these small things that can make, give something a little bit fun of a fun twist rather than just saying, customer sales support. Now they are the pirate problem solvers. Okay. Another really cool use case, and one that we've used a few different times, is we've had these things that we call, a trivia happy hour that we'll do kind of mid-afternoon Pacific time for our US-based employees on a Friday. And one of the things that we'll do as kind of a team building activity is like a trivia. And the way we'll do this is we'll kind of split up the questions. Maybe we have, let's say, 16 total questions. Maybe 8 of them are generic questions, like trivia types of questions, like, what's the most expensive piece of art ever sold, or what have you. And then we'll mix in questions that's about the team itself, so it's a good way for us to kind of get to know each other a little bit better. And one way that we've gone about kind of creating those questions is we'll do like a survey, maybe once a year or twice a year, to the team and also to new members, that we'll just kind of have, maybe 20 questions that are just kind of casual icebreaker type of questions. So in this case, just because we don't, there's a public podcast, we're not going to release things about our own existing employees, but I've actually used Copilot to create some fake survey results for our small team of I think it's like 10 or 20 folks. So I'm going to start here with Copilot. I'm going to say, and I have to switch this over to work because I'm going to be referencing a specific file here. And what I'm going to ask it here is, so I'm going to say, write 5 trivia questions based on this file. And then I'm just going to do that /, and then I am going to go to all here. And actually, I'm just going to go ahead and go down here. I don't need to search for it. I've got the link already copied for the file, and I will go ahead and let it do its thing. Now, again, this is where, the way that you prompt Copilot is really an art here. So it took me very literally. It gave me 10 questions. It did not give me, or 5 questions, sorry. It did not give me 5 answers. So as a next step, I'm going to say, let's say that I want to have, give me the answers for the questions. And it's going to kind of do its thing again. And now it's gotten just the answers down here. So I'm going to take a look at the questions here real quick and make sure, you never want to just take Copilot and copy and paste without reading through it first. Some of these might not be maybe things that we want to have shared, or might not be quite appropriate. So these ones are all specifically to one person. So let's say that since this is trivia, I don't want to, the way we want this to work is that we want people to kind of discuss something where it's more like, let's say one of the questions is, we can see there's how many countries has so-and-so visited here, Grace Lee in this case. So instead of that, what we try to do is say, like, who has visited 7 countries? And what that does, it kind of sparks conversations like, oh, I think that maybe Logan has, or Grace has, or Emily has. and it kind of has like a group conversation around it. So you're not like focusing in on, okay, I wonder how many things that this person has done. So let's say I want it to, I'm going to say, give me new questions, and the questions cannot include the name of an employee, and give me the answers to each question. And let's see how it does with this prompt. Okay. So this is looking a little bit better based on the first one. So I can see what did someone want to be when they were 10 years old and later ate durian as the strangest food. So this is an interesting one. It's kind of got like two parts to it, and it doesn't look like it quite gave me what I wanted. So I want the so let's say here it's not I'm wanting the answers to be people. So um, give me new questions, and the answers should be one or more employee names. And now let's see what it's going to do with this prompt. Okay, so who has visited the most countries and what's the strangest food they've eaten? Okay, this is better. This is going to spark some conversation. So we're going to talk about who's visited the most countries, start to think that through.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is looking a little bit better. So we're kind of getting the gist here. We're getting closer. Now, what we would do with this is we would just simply, take these questions, cut and paste them into a PowerPoint deck, and then this is sort of our ice-breaking activity. We'll mix it in. We can use Copilot once again to build those, other questions that are not about our specific employees. But this one, we're taking data that we got out of a Microsoft Forms request that was sent out to employees. We're using that information to generate questions for our happy hour trivia. All right, so our last demo here today is going to be a short one, but a fun one. So I'm here in Outlook. I'm going to write an email, and let's say I've got to ask, we'll pick on Logan here. So let's say I need to get something from Logan. So I'll go ahead and just type out an email here. And you know what I'll do is I'm actually going to go ahead and use Copilot to help me draft the original email. So I'm going to say, ask Logan to give me a status update on the project with Healing Horizons, and ask him to let me know what new things the team is working on. So it's going to do its thing here. It's going to write me an email, and I can certainly give it its normal coaching here. But let's just, for the sake of the demo, I'm just going to keep it. I like what they've gotten here. So this looks fun, or great and everything, but let's say I want to make it a little bit more fun. So I'm actually going to go ahead and go right through here. I'm going to right click on the text I've selected and click back here on this Copilot thing. It's going to give me some options here, like get coaching, make it shorter, longer, that type of thing. But let's say that I want to do something a little bit different. So I'm going to say, make it a poem that sounds like it was written by a pirate. And so it's going to do its thing. Ahoy, Logan, hope ye be well with Healing Horizons. Pray tell, what be the status? How fares the quest? Be there milestones or news? Share the best. So this is looking great. I love it. I'm going to go ahead and click this replace button. Now, if I wanted to, I could insert it below. And, I've actually done this before where it's like, okay, I'm not quite sure if the person's going to appreciate the joke or really understand the poem. So maybe I'll kind of keep the original text and have this below as a fun thing. But in this case, Logan knows me well enough to know that he can always just ping me back on Teams and say, what the heck are you requesting from this? But here's kind of a way to make it a little bit more fun. Again, great for internal use, just kind of lighten the mood a little bit. And, certainly something that we've used and sticks with our pirate theme with, without me having to spend a lot of time. I'm not a great poet. So, again, kind of a fun little use case here with Copilot and Outlook to make things a little bit more fun. In today's journey of the Copilot Compass, we broke tradition a little bit and didn't focus on this particular application or an office application to say, but instead just talked about a few kind of fun and creative ways to use Copilot to make, the workplace a little bit more enjoyable. We talked about how you can use chat for image creation, and kind of, the use case we had today was using an image for an internal presentation as like a background for a title slide. Then we also talked about how you can use the work chat to create trivia questions based on, an employee survey that was distributed for like an ice-breaking activity, like a trivia, employee get to know each other trivia type of thing. We also talked about how you can use chat for coming up with fun team names or project names, things like that. And then lastly, we showed how you can use Copilot to make your emails a little bit more fun and add some humor to them.
Yeah, hopefully you guys found these examples fun. And yeah, I know I did. So make sure you like, subscribe, and comment, and let us know what you'd like to see next. And remember that we have Q&A sessions at the beginning of each episode, so please submit those questions. And remember, the new episodes are coming out weekly, so stay tuned to see what we got coming up next.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next week.